Hey guys, I'm Megan, and today I'm going to teach you how to foam roll. You may or may not have tried foam rolling before, but foam rolling is essentially a form of what's called myofascial release, or it's a fancy way of saying massage or manipulation for your soft tissues, your muscles, your fascia, all the connective tissues on your body. So foam rolling is a great way to kind of replicate what a massage therapist might do when you go to a massage therapy session. But what's so nice about foam rolling is that it's free. You can do it anytime, and it really works great to help heal you following a workout, help speed up the recovery process. It's a great form of active recovery in that regards, and it can alleviate a lot of soreness. I will warn you, if you are brand new to foam rolling, often it can really hurt at first, kind of like if you were to get a really deep tissue massage. Sometimes that can really hurt, especially for muscle tissue and fascial tissue that are really bound up, maybe not all that healthy. It can be very painful, but I'll teach you how to kind of work through that. I encourage you to do this regularly. Foam rolling is something that you should do on a daily basis, especially in conjunction with your workouts. You can do it prior to working out and even after your workout before you begin stretching. So I'll teach you how to foam roll systematically. Primarily, we're gonna focus on the legs and your back. There's some other ways that you can foam roll other areas of your body, but it's a little bit trickier. It's helpful to use smaller implements rather than a foam roller to get into areas like your shoulders and neck. So we're gonna focus mainly on the very large muscle groups. So I wanna start down the front sides of your body, and we're gonna begin with the shins. And the best way to do this is to simply kneel on your foam roller and use your hands as your guide, as your support. Make sure that this is actually pretty passive. You don't wanna be working really hard up here with your hips way up in the air like you're doing knee tucks. Sit down on your heels if you're able to, so that you're placing a little bit more pressure, a little more body weight into the actual muscle tissue, and that's gonna drive that muscle tissue into the foam roller and give you a little bit more release. It should feel like you're rolling from your knee joint to your ankle joint, and you're primarily focusing on that padded area kind of to the outside of your shin bone. If you want, you can rotate and tip so you get a little bit more on the inside of that shin bone and then towards the inside of the other shin bone. But ideally, you want to move from knee to ankle, getting that full length of the tissue there. We're going to skip over the joint. You don't want to roll the joint at all. Okay, so make sure that you're not rolling your knee joint, you're not rolling directly on your hip joint. You want to primarily focus just on the muscle tissue. So to do your quads, we're going to come down onto your elbows so that your back is not extended up in the air. Get yourself pretty flat and support yourself on your elbows. And we're going to roll on both thighs from hip to knee, coming all the way up and all the way down. You should feel kind of your kneecap at the bottom and then the hip joint at the top. At first, this might be pretty painful, but as you get going, you might find that you need a little bit more pressure to even feel it. So at that point, it's helpful to cross one leg over the other, or even hold one leg up in the air and really use your arms to guide yourself. Once you get more familiar with the foam roller, you don't always have to go in a perfectly straight line down the center of your muscle. As I'm rolling, especially on my thighs, I tend to kind of rock around and roll and see if I can really pinpoint the areas that feel like they need that extra massage more. So after your thighs, once we get those rolled out really well, and about 10 swipes, about 10 strokes is good enough minimum. If you feel like you want to spend a little bit more time, you can. From there, we're going to turn to the side and we're going to roll what's often called the IT band. The best way to do this is to lay on your side almost like you're in a side plank position with your elbow perpendicular to your body. Get your leg totally out straight so that you're a nice straight line from head to foot. Take your top leg and step it in front. And this top leg can be a little bit of a pressure alleviator, okay? So you can place a little bit of pressure in that top foot and hold you off of the roller. And as we roll your IT band, we're gonna be focusing mostly towards the top of the IT band, right below where you feel the hip crest, right at the very top of that, the side of your thigh, and then also down towards the knee. And it should feel like it's just, when we're doing that IT band, it should feel like we're getting this top portion and then down by the knee, kind of that big bulging spot right above the knee joint. So those two sections are what we're focusing on for the IT band. You don't necessarily need to spend a lot of time right down in the center. Just really focus on those top areas. From there, after you do both sides, we're gonna move to your glutes. So the best way to get your glutes is to sit on the foam roller and cross one leg up and over like a figure 4 stretch. And that is going to really open up your hip joint and allow you to get deeper up into the different layers of glutes that you have. Position one hand out behind you, and I like to hold my ankle with the other hand. We're gonna actually roll in a kind of a circular motion over that whole glute, and you might feel like a little bit of extra pressure up at the top, kind of up by that hip crest, and then you can come all the way down to the bottom where it meets with your femur and feel the pressure down there. Come towards the center, more towards your tailbone, and then make sure you're out to the side, more towards the IT band again. So you want to feel like you're getting all 4 corners of your glutes and then move in that circular motion. To switch sides, you'll shift your weight over to the other hip, cross this leg over, and roll that. Always remember, the hip that you're rolling, that's the leg that should be lifted up and crossed. Now there's a couple other areas that we can get when working on your hips. They're a little bit more advanced because you have to hold your body up, or when working on your legs. Calf is another area that you can do, is foam rolling your calves. This is great if you're a runner or if you have foot or ankle issues, especially plantar fasciitis. It's helpful to foam roll your calves. You can do this a couple different ways. You can just hold your entire body up off the floor and roll both calves at a time, but that can be really challenging, especially at the end of the workout when your arms are really tired. So the other way that you can do it is pull the foam roller over so that you just have one leg on it, and now this other leg can become your support. So you can hold your hips up off the floor, holding with that foot. The thing is that when your hips are on the floor, you're not going to feel very much pressure through your calves, so you do need to hold your hips up either way. If you want to really work into your calves, you can cross the other leg and put a lot of extra pressure on that calf. Make sure that when you are doing your calves, you're not just doing a straight line just up the center. Rotate your foot so you get more medial, and rotate your foot outwards so you get a little bit more lateral. We can do the same concept with your hamstrings. So more up at the top of your thigh, you can feel the high inner hamstring if you rotate your foot inward, and then we can feel the high outer hamstring, that lateral hamstring, almost over towards that IT band if you rotate your foot outwards. So those are 2 other areas that you can get also. Another thing that we can do is inner thigh, and this one is a little funky. We're gonna kind of straddle the foam roller by extending one leg out behind you and almost laying on top of the foam roller, okay? So from a different angle, you're gonna take one leg and lay it on top so your knee is bent up, and then make sure you come down on your elbows so that you're not extending your back again. This knee should be bent up so that it's directly out from your hip, and we're gonna focus on rolling that inner thigh, kind of that inside seam of your inner thigh all the way up to your groin where it meets up with your hip flexors, and then all the way out to the knee joint. Okay, and you're probably gonna feel the most pressure or the most need for foam rolling right up at the top and then all the way down where it meets that knee joint, okay? We're gonna finish up with foam rolling your back. This is the best part, and it's great to finish with it because it doesn't take a lot of effort, and it's helpful to kind of keep encouraging that cool down process by slowly getting less and less intense as you go. So it's important to not foam roll your low back. Your low spine is not designed to be mobile or highly movable. So let's avoid foam rolling that area and focus primarily from mid-back and up to the base of your neck. So we're gonna lay back on the foam roller where it hits kind of mid-back, and it's important to support your head with your hands so that you're not straining your neck muscles trying to keep your head up. So support your head with your hands and let your hands fall back into your head, fall back into your hands. Lift your hips up off the floor, and you're gonna roll from that mid-back spot up to the base of your neck. And you're gonna do straight up and down, right along your spine. And then once you go straight up and down a few times, you can lean more towards one side and feel more along your shoulder blade. And then you can lean towards the other side. And you might even feel kind of the tops of your shoulder blades right along between where your shoulder blade and neck come together, those upper trap regions. That's gonna feel good too. From this position, we can rotate to the side, and you can even extend that arm, and we can really work more into your lat muscles. This is another one, kind of like the calves and like the IT band, that is really intense for some people, is working into that lat. What it feels like is that you're rolling right through your armpit or the side of your armpit. And for many of us, that's really tight and doesn't get a lot of love. And so foam rolling this is necessary, but it can be pretty painful, so do what you can tolerate. So those are all the primary positions for foam rolling. Couple general rules of thumb. Do what you can tolerate. See if every time you foam roll you can tolerate a little bit more. Keep in mind that healthy tissue should not be painful. Okay, so if you're rolling on the foam roller and something hurts, it means that it probably needs it pretty bad. Okay, so try to not avoid it too much, but only do what you can tolerate. Don't force yourself to do something that's excessively painful. About 10 strokes in each area is good. If a certain area of your body, if it feels like it's not doing much, you don't have to spend a lot of time on it. The firmer the foam roller, the better, okay? So you'll get into those tissues even more. So now you know how to foam roll, give it a try the next time you work out.